Hi there, my name is Kim Patulik. I am the owner of Body Wisdom Wellness here in Manchester, Connecticut. I am a licensed massage therapist, certified yoga teacher, and a Reiki master. Here at Body Wisdom Wellness, I use all these modalities and other things that I've learned throughout the years to help bring you to ease in your body. One of the things that I love is teaching yoga. I like to incorporate, things that we all might be going through into my classes, and one of those things is plantar fasciitis. So if you're not sure what plantar fasciitis is, I'll give you a quick little 20-second definition or so. Plantar fasciitis is a condition where the fascia on your feet gets inflamed and irritated. So this causes pain when you strike your foot on the floor, or it could just be pain doing nothing. So fascia is a connective tissue. Sometimes that plantar or the fascia could be stuck, right? So it gets a little gummy, maybe you had an injury, and so it causes a restriction. The restriction causes pain, inflammation, etc. So plantar fascia is here on your foot. So your calcaneus bone is your heel bone here, and the fascia connects your heel bone to the other bones of your foot, so right at the base of your foot. And I apologize if my feet are dirty. I like to walk around barefoot a lot. Right, so it's going all through here. Most people feel the pain right about here in their foot, but it doesn't have to be where you feel the pain. You could feel it throughout the foot. That being said, what do we do about plantar fasciitis, and how can our yoga practice help us into relieving some of these symptoms? So when I teach these yoga classes that deal with plantar fasciitis, the first thing that we do is we do some myofascial release around the leg to help us start to relieve maybe some of this undue pressure that's happening below in our foot. So one thing I've learned in my practice is that just because the pain is in one area doesn't mean that you focus all of your attention to that area. You gotta go above, you gotta go below. So in the case of our foot, can't really go below, so we're just gonna concentrate above. So you don't need very much to do this work. You need tennis balls or a lacrosse ball. Now tennis balls are a little bit squishier, right? Dogs love them because they can really kind of sink their teeth into them. A lacrosse ball, not so squishy, right? So it's gonna be denser. So be careful when you're working with a lacrosse ball that you don't do too much. And in any of these exercises, try not to do too much, do just enough. So you have to really listen to your body. If you're feeling a sharp pain, back out, it's not worth it. Just work into the musculature as best you can with as much ease as you can. The more ease you put into your body, the better you're gonna feel. So I'm gonna get rid of this. So you're gonna take your tennis balls and you wanna find where your Achilles tendon starts to come into the muscle, right? So muscle is attached to your bones through your tendons. And so you wanna get into the muscle part. If we go and roll on our tendons, it's just gonna hurt. And our tendons aren't as, they don't have as much blood supply, right, as our muscles. So it's harder for them to recover if we injure them. Place my ball here. So I'm just letting the weight of my leg come into the tennis ball. And you can do this one leg at a time, or you can do both legs at a time. So I'm gonna again find the muscle and come down. So once I let my muscles just kind of melt into the tennis ball, and I smile at melt because it might not feel like melting. It is a little bit painful, but it's not intolerable. I'm gonna start to just create movement here. So I'm gonna flex my feet and point my feet. Flex my feet and point my feet. I'm gonna create other movements that feel good to you and make sense, right? So maybe some little circles. Go in the opposite direction. I can support myself with my hands or my blocks. Here, right, to sit up tall and to maybe just create some sideways movement here in the legs. And let your feet be kind of dangly here if you're gonna do this part. So I'm gonna slide the tennis balls up a little bit more to the center of my calf muscles and do that process all over again. So it's a lot of repetition. So the next thing I want to do is work on my shin muscle. So the tibialis anterior is the muscle that connects to your foot and lifts your feet up, right? Lifts your toes up. What you'll do here is do this one at a time. Take your tennis ball and then press down into your shin. So you don't want to be on the bony part of your shin. And here, I'm just gonna let gravity do its work. Let me bring it a little bit lower and just let your body weight sink into the tennis ball. Good. And take it down. Now I'm going to do this on the other side, but I'll turn sideways so that you can see a little differently. I'm just going to let myself settle into that. And if you feel pretty good here, you can start to come up onto hands and knees and do some movements this way, right? Or kind of roll around on the side. Good. Until you've worked out some of that. Now we're going to get our hamstrings involved with this. So for this, I'll turn to the side. And here, I'm going to want my blocks. You're going to come up onto your shins and take your tennis balls right into the back of your knees. And then slowly, you'll start to sink your hips back. Supporting myself with my blocks, because as I lift my body weight up, it's a lot of downward pressure, and it just feels like it's too much. So I'm going to lean forward a little bit and use my blocks to support me, trying to keep my chest lifted as I work. So I'm just going to let my body weight sink into the tennis balls again, and then I might move side to side a little bit. All right, so I'm going to come up, I'm going to roll these down a little bit, second position. So I'm only going to do 3 positions, and I'm going to stay clear of my Achilles tendon. All right, so not putting undue pressure there. So I'll let my body weight sink in, and then I'll create some side-to-side movements. It's like a massage. One more time, coming down a little bit. So my Achilles tendon starts about here. I'm above it. And here I can sit back a little bit more. Good. Rolling from side to side. We also want to not only stretch out the muscles, but we also want to strengthen. And so great ways to do this are standing poses in yoga and downward facing dog, because we can vary downward facing dog and play around and do some fun stuff here. So I'm gonna pop into downward facing dog. So take your hands wide, fingertips pointing at 12 o'clock, and lift your hips. I'm gonna pedal my feet, so I'll bend one knee at a time, really stretching out this part of my calves. The other knee. So one of the things we can do in downward facing dog is to just come into a one-legged dog. So here I want to bring my feet just a little bit closer together. I'm going to lift up my heels and then take one leg up behind me. So I don't want my hips to open up wide here. I just want my hips nice and square, and I want to be active in my lifted leg. I'm going to push into my toe ball mounds and lift my heel up. And then as I exhale, drop my heel down towards the floor, getting a big stretch here. Inhale, press into my toes and lift up. Exhale, lower it down. So you can do this as many times as you want. And this is strengthening the muscles of your foot, as well as strengthening and stretching at the same time the calf muscles here. Another tool that I like to use is my strap. If you don't have a yoga strap at home, you can use a towel, you can use a belt, you can use the belt for your bathrobe. Translates really well. And so with the strap, I'm going to lay on my back, lift a leg up, and put the strap into 3 different positions into my foot. And I'm going to use some resistance with the strap so that my foot muscles are working. Slide the strap over my toe ball mound. So big toe ball mound, baby toe ball mound. I'm going to give a little downward pull and flex my foot. So my toes are coming towards my shin. Keeping the resistance in the strap, I'm going to pull my toes up towards the ceiling. So I'm stretching across the front of my ankle, but I know that I'm doing some work here too. So hold this for a few breaths. If you need to, wrap the strap around your hands to give you support. Hold it here, and then pull your toes down towards your shin. Hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then move the strap to the center of your foot. And again, you're pulling straight down, giving some resistance in the heel, so you're trying to straighten the leg out here a little bit. Side note, if you hyperextend your knee, keep a little bend in your knee. Otherwise, you're trying to keep it nice and straight. Working now a little bit deeper into your hamstring. Flex my foot, get a good stretch here, and then point your toes up towards the ceiling, feeling that stretch across the front of your ankle. Hold this for a little bit, and then pull the toes back down. You can also do circular motions. All right, this really starts the ankle, kind of feels like a burning sensation in your ankle when you do this. And then bring the strap right at your heel. So here I'm just going to start to point the toes first. Feel that stretch all the way up my toes. And then pull my toes down towards my shin. You can create that movement. Good. Come back into flexion. And then let it go. So thanks for watching today. So just a quick review, we did some myofascial release with our tennis balls, right? Working our calf muscles, our tibialis anterior, hamstrings. We also did some work with our yoga strap and doing downward facing dog to stretch and strengthen our muscles, not only of our foot, but of our legs as well. And you could also do other poses, like any standing pose, warrior 1, warrior 2, warrior 3, crescent lunge, giving a lot of attention to your feet. How are you placing your feet? Spreading your toes so that you create a nice wide base for your feet to work from. If you have any questions, you can always reach me either through my Facebook page at Body Wisdom Wellness, go to my website at www.bodywisdomwellness.co, or my Instagram page. Thanks for watching.